Hi folks. Yes, this is a channel about RVing, so you haven't gone to the wrong place. It does kind of look like an RV, right? A little bit? Yeah, so this is a little robot that I did back in 2014. It's one of the couple of times I put things on Kickstarter and Indiegogo that really haven't gone anywhere. The idea here was, this is called Logitrax, and the intention was to build a small tracked robot that you could build different types of tops for. Like in this case, it's called the Snowcat, and I had other types, trucks and tank tops and things like that had turrets on them, and you can hit servos and make them move around on their own autonomously. And the idea was to develop a robotic platform that could teach you the basics of FPGA programming and robotics. And it was not very popular on Kickstarter, didn't do very well, and now it's just basically a orphan prototype here collecting dust in my RV. So every now and then I pull it out and use it for some other kind of, pull something out of it to use on another project. Cool. Breakfast. Alright, here we are in the living room. Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about a 6-month review on our RV. We've had it now since January 30th, 31st till now mid-July, late July. And we thought we'd discuss with the things we do like and the things that we wish were a little different. One of the things I want to show you right in front of you is this RO system that we put in. It's one of the upgrades we did. We were buying a lot of bottled water, either parked somewhere or on the road, and that can get costly, as well as adding a lot of extra weight now that we're trying to really think about weight. And just adding an RO system gives us bottled water taste right from the tap water that comes from the RV park or from the water tank in the RV. And this is simply an RO system. It's called Smart Water. It's an RO we bought from Home Depot, and it's traditional house type RO. And we put the tank and the filtration system underneath here. The RO system is probably one of the best type of water filtration you can get. It's an extremely clean water. In fact, you can buy RO water at the grocery store in the small bottles or a big jug of it. And we thought we would just make it when we're connected up to city water at the RV park. Why not just make our own RO water? And so now we don't carry the bottles around anymore. We have just the RO from the tap here, and there's a 2-gallon tank in there. You can see where I put the filters underneath and the 2-gallon tank. And yeah, that's been a great upgrade for us. So the next feature we did here is my wife wanted all the dishes in one place, and you can see how it's kind of set up for slots for dishes. I cut the last one out so we could put these bigger bowls in there, and then we can also, I notched it so we could put these bigger platters. And I do need to do a little touch-up paint on it, but you can see all the bowls and platters are in one spot. Yeah, you can see the notch there. And the cool thing about the Chaparral is these are really hard, and they're much lighter, so you can have like a dinner house feel in something that feels not a plastic bowl that's very campy. But if you put a regular house bowl, it's very heavy. So in a weight savings, these things are fairly light. They're not as light as plastic, but they are much lighter than a traditional house bowl, and they're very hard. They're very unbreakable, virtually unbreakable. So it's very hard to break. So, and they just ride in here just like this. One of the things we really like about this is the pantry space. And pantries and cabinet space in a mid-bunk RV are hard to come by if you want windows. You usually have to decide which one or the other. And this one does a pretty decent job of giving you some cabinet space, some pantry. You don't have the pull-out drawers, but you do have some decent space, and there even have some pots up there. We added the paper towel roller, and it does a pretty good job of giving you food storage. Now, one thing we've been doing is we've been trimming down on our canned goods because, again, we're in this weight savings thing here, trying to cut weight out of the RV. After we've weighed it, we realized we're a little overweight.
Oh, and the stove.
The stove is probably an area where we would have liked to have the upgraded stove. She does not like these type of cooking rails. I don't know if you have a small pot that we can. Where's this pot's at?
He doesn't know where
the
pots belong.
Yeah, there you go. You can see if you don't get it situated just right on here, that's the way it looks, and it's easy to bump it around, and it'll do just like that. So the more upgraded stove has the element right over the burner itself and does a much better job of holding the pot.
It's just a more camper feel.
Yeah, this has a bit of a more camper feel. So this might be an upgrade in the future, is to actually upgrade to one of the fancier stove oven combinations. So something we're looking at.
And we knew we wanted to upgrade.
Yeah,
when we bought it.
When we bought it, we knew it had this, and we were okay with it because of the overall features versus the price. We thought, this is something we could just change later. And so it gets a little older and we get really tired of it, we'll swap it out for a better stove. All right, moving on over here to our fridge. It's electric, and it's the compressor type electric. It does not run on propane. It is more of a residential type fridge, and you can see it's pretty spacious. Has 2 drawers of freezer down here, and you can see more of this in we have a walkthrough video of this that you can see. One of the things I really like about the fridge is that it is not propane electric. It runs on electricity all the time. So to make that happen when you're unconnected from shore power, is it relies on a 1,000-watt inverter that's placed up front, and the manufacturer decided not to add this. It's come to the factory this way. And that inverter supplies power to this refrigerator as well as the outdoor kitchen refrigerator, which is really nice because I can stock that with food. We can hook up to our truck and be driving to our campsite, and the 2 refrigerators keeping things nice and cool. So the only disadvantage that I've noticed is and I'm not that familiar with the amount of power that the truck is allowed to transfer to the trailer while it's connected up. But there's a limitation, and I don't know if it's from the truck side or the camper side. I'm not sure who the limiter is. But with these refrigerators running, there's actually not enough current coming from the truck. And this has nothing to do with the truck's delivery system. It's an alternator. I actually have an upgraded alternator, 220 amp alternator. That truck has what's called a snowplow kit added to it. Has plenty of power to deliver back here, but something else is limiting that power back to probably the truck's computer, is limiting that power. So it starves the trailer a little bit of power when you try to run these refrigerators while on the road. And so what the trailer does is it supplements any power that it cannot get, any deficit it can't get from the truck, it takes it from the battery, and it will slowly run the battery down. And it takes more than a day because it's not a lot of power, but it's enough to eventually run the battery dead so that the refrigerators cannot run. And what I will do is usually just charge them up, plug them in, and not run the refrigerators for a while, or just charge them up on solar and do it that way. What I really need to do is add a second power cable that connects the battery on the RV to the battery up on the truck, so that the sufficient enough amount of power can come from the truck to keep all this working while I'm towing. Alright, so one of the things we really have enjoyed about this is I like this mantle setup, and I like this huge TV space, because since we live in the RV, this has made it really great for making that living room feel in an RV. And it's an opposing slide. You can see the slide sticks out 2 feet, and this one sticks out a total of 3 feet. And you have the recliners that are facing the TV, which is really nice. So I can come over here and sit down and even pull the recliner up, and I'm facing the TV, which has really made it really great. And the space that it has for the TV is very large. This is a 65-inch 4K television. I think what they had originally envisioned was a 55-inch from Furrion. I bought this at Walmart. It's a 4K Samsung, and I had to change the mount a little bit to make it fit, so I had to relocate the mount. And you can see I added a little plate in here, wood plate, plywood, the heavy-duty kind, to relocate the mount so that you can see it. There you go. I flip the light on, you can see my little mount I made there. And I just relocated the mount in there and get a little stronger feel. The TV is very thin, so it's not very heavy, but I needed to move it so I could use up as much of the wall space as I could. So we've really enjoyed watching this. Now, to combine the visual, we added this sound bar. It's also a Samsung, and it has a Bluetooth subwoofer right down below the dinette. You can see it down there. It's a little hard to see. And that's Bluetooth, so there's no wires to it. All I had to do is plug it in, and it's 340 watts of power. So when we get this thing cranked up with some movies going, we can play 4K movies and sound that is incredible, and it just gives it more of that at-home feel when we're living here. All right, so you can see here it's getting up. We're doing some of our walkthrough without the air conditioner on. You can see it's climbing up to 85. So we're going to turn it on now. We're in Santa Clarita, and it's going to be a 100-degree day here, so got to run the air conditioner. So pardon if you hear the noise, but if you're thinking of an RV, this is about what it sounds like with the RV, with the air conditioner on in the living area. You can see we need to do a little cleaning on that filter, but you can see what it sounds like with the air conditioner on. One thing that I wish they had done a little differently, and I understand they do this as part of an upgrade feature, which is, this is the computer that controls the auto leveling, which I'm going to cover a little bit in a video, a little later. And I love the auto leveling. The auto leveling has made RVing so much easier to do, because we can auto level the RV, and hooking up and unhooking the RV is so much faster with the features like hitch height or retract all. And this one feature is made from us transitioning from a travel trailer to a fifth wheel. I think we're actually a little spoiled on fifth wheels, because hooking up and disconnecting is so quick and easy. It's just pushing some buttons and then watching the trailer do its thing. And literally when it goes time for me to hook up, I just hit return to hitch height, and I watch the trailer pull up all its jacks and raise itself up to the height that it needs to be to hook up to the truck. I back up to it, connect everything up, hit retract all, everything pulls up, and then I just have to pull the manually extended parts of the RV jacks, and we're ready to go. And so I love the auto leveling feature of this RV. Let's see if I can go back to, there we go. The thing that I don't like is, I understand this is a mid-profile rig and it's not the full profile rig that costs a bit more, but really if you think about it, you've gone to the trouble to add the display, the computing system, the auto leveling, which is the bulk of it. The higher end models of the RVs add the ability to control the lights and the slides, and to do that by your phone. And I don't have my phone in front of me. What I would really like for it to have is them to have just gone ahead and added, it's just a software change to add those other features, and one small controller board that would connect up the Android to the same switches that you got over here that run slides in and out and turns lights on and off. The amount of electronics is minimal in cost, and I know this because I design these types of electronics for a living. So how much additional cost is it to add those full profile features into the mid profile rig? Maybe you would have $500 to $1,000 more in components, if it's that much. Honestly, I've designed enough of these to know that it's really only a few $100 more components. I'm saying $1,000 with some profit in there, and that would make this a lot easier, because it has some real annoyances for me having to manually do switches. For one, it takes two people to open slides, one person to stand outside and make sure it doesn't hit anything, and another person to hit the switch on the slide. Another one is, you can see the awning extension retraction, and you can see from the viewpoint of the switch. Here, you can hold it.
Even with the door open.
Even with the door open, I cannot see too much of the awning. I can't see if it's going to strike or hit something, or if there's something preventing it from rolling up. So I have to come over here, roll it in a little bit, and then look out the window over there, and then retract it some more. It's a pain in the butt. It would be nice to do it from my phone. The other is the same way with the slides. Someone has to watch the bedroom slide as it's opening and closing, make sure it's not hitting anything. It would be nice if I could just, from my phone, power the thing up, run the slides in and out, run the awning in and out. I realize you can do that with the full profile, But is it really adding that much more cost to the RV to do that? I can tell you from an electrical engineer who's done electronics design very similar to this type of stuff, no. It's not really adding that much cost. So I understand from an RV manufacturer, they're trying to give you features that add value, and so they add more trim, prettier wood, and more ceiling treatment, and more cabinetry treatment, and trying to make the rig worth the additional cost. But when it comes to electronics, when you can buy a 4K television for less than $500 today, the electronics is not costing you a lot of money to just add that. And it's software. It's literally a software upgrade to this guy right here. In fact, I'm actually thinking about modifying and designing my own circuit board to do exactly what I'm talking about, and just adding it to this. And I may even add some software to that to control the rig so that I can do it from my phone. Yeah, that's one feature I wish it did have.
So that you can be outside with it.
Yeah.
Controlling it.
So I can stand
and watching
outside.
it at the same time.
I'm already standing out there watching the auto level going. It would be great if I could just, when the auto level's done, flip the lights on, open the slides up, run the awning out, all out from outside, and then come inside. And yes, I know you can do that with a full profile rig, but I'm saying we're 95% there already with the Android display and the switches, and we're almost there. We just need one more electronic control to unite the software that's running in here to these switches right here as an override, and a few $100s in circuitries. So, and I would have that feature anyway. So it obviously, for me to design it myself, I'm talking about something that's in production, a few $100s. When you design and engineer something yourself, it's thousands of dollars. So I'm talking about a production cost, which if you're not familiar with that, it may not make a lot of sense. From a production cost, it's not that much money to add that investment.
It costs a lot for one, but not very much for a lot.
It costs a lot to design one, but the idea is that you don't design one, you put them in lots of RVs, and you make your profit over a number of them spread out. That's how you make your profit. We've really been enjoying the outdoor kitchen, so I'm going to show you some of the things I really like and some of the things I wish that were a little different. One is, I know a lot of folks like them to have a sink out here, but I really would rather not have a sink. We can just wash the dishes inside and not give up the real estate for a sink. So I like that this counter that just pulls out, can use it for prep space. And then I like the grill. The grill works pretty well. You can see it's a little difficult cleaning it, but if I did one thing different about this, adding a lid to the grill so that you can build heat over the top of it would be pretty good. It's sometimes a little difficult to get it to cook thoroughly because it wants to be really hot searing heat on the bottom, and nothing on the top is just dissipating. So the other thing that would be really great if it did is the gas cable, which
it's in the basket over there.
It's in the basket. Okay, so the one annoyance that I have with this that I kind of wish they would have done from the factory is, the cool thing is the grill works from your propane tanks themselves. So you don't have a separate tank for that, and you connect it up by this hose. And this is where the one annoyance for me comes in. You have to essentially connect it up underneath, and then wrap the hose underneath the RV. I don't know if you can see inside there. Here's the gas drop right there. So I have to hook it into the gas drop and then wrap the hose underneath the RV slide and connect it up into the grill, and it basically, you use it like that. So when you're done using it, you have to just basically unhook all this and put it all away, because you cannot close this without disconnecting the propane hose. And if you look at what they've done from a wiring perspective, you can see that there's outlets up here, there's outlets and switches in here, and the factory's gone through the trouble of routing all that into the carriage. And it would have been nice if they just took one more step, routed that propane line inside, so that I do not have to do a manual connect up. I could just pull the drawer out and use it. Obviously they can make it flexible. I have a flexible propane hose, so it would just be a matter of routing that as a rubber hose out there and making a more permanent connection instead of this drop. Although it's convenient to use for other purposes, it'd be nice if I didn't have to do that to use the grill, the gas grill. The one other feature I really like about this is, and I've learned this from the forums, is since this is an all-electric RV, and that I'm getting a lot of wind here, is that since I'm gonna put the camera over here so maybe it kind of get you out of the wind. So I understand from the forums in the earlier models that had an electric refrigerator. This is not the propane electric fridge. This is the compressor type, residential type fridge. This one has the residential type fridge, which we love. It also has this electric fridge here with the compressor type. And I understand from the forum, from some of the earlier models of this type Chaparral, is this guy would not be powered from the inverter, which means that when you're towing, this had no power and it will remain off. But in this model, it draws power from the inverter, just like the residential fridge inside does. And that makes it really convenient because I can load this with groceries and hook it up to the truck and tow it, and it remains on while we're on the road, which really makes it convenient. Really love that feature. All right, one of the other features that we really liked about this particular mid bunk is the loft. Now there are a lot of mid bunks out there, different kinds, and some of them are not a loft type. We really like the loft type because, one, it offers an extra bed for kids or small children or even adults if you want to climb up there and lay down on it. At least it's an option. It's actually better sleeping quarters than the fold-out couch. So the other thing that it makes is very convenient storage. And yeah, we have storage below, but the things that you don't want to go outside for, you can put them up here. Like we keep the extra chairs for our dinette that we don't use unless we have guests. We just keep them up here. And it has all the same hookups that you'd find in the other rooms, TV and things like that. You can't put a 65-inch TV there, but you can put a small one. And yeah, so offering the convenience of climate-controlled storage, as well as a convenient place to sleep for guests, makes it really nice to have this here. One thing we have had to do is we've had to replace that cover. We've already had one crack on us, and it blew off when I was on the road. So I think I don't remember what I paid for that. It was not very much money. I bought it at Camping World, and it took just a few minutes to install. So, like I said, the things that have gone wrong have been fairly minor and easy to solve, which makes living in the rig very, very pleasurable. Yeah, the other thing that, you know, we've talked about it being storage. When we had our travel trailer, I mean, there are things that you just set out that you're using, and they just either sit on the couch or they sit on the dinette, or they're just out, and it's just because you're living in your camper. And with the loft, it gives you a convenient place to put things away, so they're not just laying at your feet or sitting on the couch or sitting on the dinette. The living area looks picked up because we can put some things in here and use it as storage, and it doesn't take up any of the storage I have below. That can be for other stuff. So this is just a very convenient way to use the loft and to keep the RV picked up. One of the big other selling points for me, that is a big plus for me, was all the windows. I love big windows, and I know it's a trade-off. The more cabinetry you want, then you have to sacrifice windows. And this RV did a good balance between giving us some cabinetry, but not sacrificing those big windows. I love to have big windows to let natural light come in, so that we don't need a lot of the artificial lighting inside the RV. And in fact, if you look in this bunk room, this is something that one of the things I only saw on this model is this guy has 3 windows in the bunk room. And this is really great because this lets in a lot of natural light. I'm trying to leave it from the monitors there, but this leaves a lot of room for natural light to come in, and I don't need as much of internal lighting to light this up in here. Now, we only saw this on this model, and I walked in lots of mid bunks, including upper end expensive mid bunks, and usually they would have just that window. but they wouldn't come with sides. And so that's what, and I knew I was going to work here a lot. So being at a location, the idea is that I would be at a location somewhere in a national park or a state park or just a good campground or even BLM land, and we could be camping, but then I'm here at the office, right? And I could just lift those up and have these spectacular views from 3 sides. And that was something that I only saw in this particular model. So, all right, as with any RV, there's a few little fit and finish issues that the RV is having. And one of them is here, you can see behind the wall here. It's probably, let me move these out of the way. Where, as you can see, the staples themselves are backing out and making that come away from the wall. And you know, these are things that I can go in and certainly warranty it. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fix that myself because we live in it, and there's just no reason for me to put this in to an RV dealership to warranty something they could take days to do, and I'll just tack it on myself. These little things can make people very annoyed about the RV industry itself, but you know, if you look at what you're buying for the price, and a lot of folks complain about the fit and finish of the RV, and they compare that to, say, a car that they bought from a dealership. The regulations that go into making that car are a lot stricter than what's going into the RV, and you might think, well, that's what I want. Well, okay, if you want that, you're going to get a much more expensive RV, because right now this RV is the same price as my pickup truck, and you look at the size difference. I can't live in the pickup truck. It doesn't have all these appliances. So I understand, I take a little bit of the fit and finish issues that it's having, with an understanding that it was built in a day to keep the labor costs down, and of low-cost components, so that this RV doesn't cost $500,000 if they were to put the type of fit and finish in it that a lot of people are calling for. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, yes, they could build it as flawless as you want it, but are you willing to pay for it? And I think that a lot of people would say no. Very well built. I like the slide technology. I like how it rolls down the road. It tows very smoothly, and it performs very well. These small fit and finish things that you see down here, honestly, I can fix those myself. Those are very small and minor. It's having a good solid chassis, accessories that work, and things like that that are most important. Fit and finish, I can fix and trim, or you can have someone fix them, or you could take it to the dealer. It's under warranty, and you could have them do it. So these are what I would call minor issues. Wouldn't get too worked up over. For the price versus features that I'm getting, I think it's a really great bargain. Alright, the other thing that we would have loved to have different would have been no carpet versus this is a low carpet, a low amount of carpet, but you can see there's still carpet along the slides and along the dinette, and what would have been great is this had no carpet at all. So we prefer, carpets are just hard to keep clean, and they get really filthy, and then you've got to shampoo them every now and then, or they get very discolored. And it would much easier to keep a hardwood floor, a hard type floor. Linoleum would be fine. This has linoleum in it. It would be easier to keep that hard floor clean than any kind of carpet. So the issues that we're sharing with you today, the things that we really love about the RV, the mid bunk and the auto leveling and and all the space and the layout, those are things those are things that sold us on the RV, and the quality and the Asdel and the siding and instead of plywood, and really enjoy those features. The features that were say a little bit of a nuisance or less desirable, they're really very minor. I mean, so we're talking about, when I'm telling you what I don't like, I'm just giving you what I do and what I don't like. But what I don't like is they're very minor. This has been a really great rig for the first 6 months that we've had it. Everything is functioning, and if I've had any trouble with it, they were generally very easy to solve. And for the price that I paid for this rig and the feature set and the service that I've gotten out of it, has been wonderful. I would definitely buy another one of these, and can't say enough positive things about it. The Coachman, the manufacturer, and I know this is one of the Forest River product line, Really enjoy using and living in this house on wheels.